Good afternoon, and here we are with another kit and history review. This time we've got the F4 Phantom, a plane that needs no introduction whatsoever. First entered into service with the United States Navy in 1961 and flew with the RAF from 1968 until the early 90s, first with the Fleet Air Arm and then with the RAF. Made its name in combat over Vietnam. Really, this was a fighter that didn't fit into the Century series, which was the F-101, F-102 and so forth. The best one of those, in my opinion, was the F-105, the Thunder Chief, which was a fighter bomber. Fantastic aeroplane, but we're going to talk a little bit about the Phantom. Multi-role fighter bomber, served in virtually all theatres of war from the early 60s to the mid-90s. In fact, it's still in service in limited fashion today with people like Japan and so forth. In fact, we've got some books, and then we'll go into a kit review. First book is this gentleman, Randy Cunningham. He's actually a Missouri native. It's not the longest book in the world, but he did make his name as a Phantom pilot, and he was America's first air ace in Vietnam. This book is the story of Linebacker, which was America's carpet bombing of Vietnam. I don't think anybody even to this day really knows what the reasoning behind the Vietnam War was. Essentially, Linebacker sent wave after wave of B-52s, Phantoms, Thunder Chiefs, F-111s and so forth to just try to bomb the Vietnamese into submission, but we know in the end it didn't actually work. And if you want to read about the British version, there's this book. This is the guy who wrote Vulcan 607, Roland White. Covers the story of the Ark Royal, which the Phantom first served on before going into service with the RAF. Excellent book. Some pictures and so forth as well. Again, don't want to get done for copyright, but there's a really good picture. There they are on the flight deck of the Ark Royal. Yeah, excellent book, really good read. And then Randy Cunningham, I've not actually met him, but like I say, he is a Missouri native. And this is a very interesting book to read. So let's have a look at the kit itself. And in time-honoured tradition of Valerie Singleton, here is one I made earlier. This is built to represent the 23 Squadron RAF version, which was based in Port Stanley in 1983. Built this kit about 10 years ago now. Even in 1/72 scale, this builds up to be a nice little kit. Did some weathering and so forth on it. I think it turned out quite well. Sidewinder missiles there and fuel tanks. Just lift it up. On the underside, you got your various missiles attached to the underside as well with your landing gears. I don't think it turned out too badly. The RAF version of the Phantom actually differed slightly from the American version because they re-engineered it with Spey engines to make it faster, but actually overall it made it slower and not as effective an aircraft. So let's have a look at the actual American version of the Phantom. This kit dates from 1976 and instructions, they do the job. Again, they're very basic. It's virtually the same way to put this kit together as it was for the other kit that I just showed you. Comes with 3 versions. Here are the decals. For 1976 decals, these have got good registry still, and I think they're still usable. I don't think they'd flake apart. The Revel decals are usually pretty good. This is something I remember from when I was a kid and getting model kits with my dad. There used to be a shop in Derby called Golden Gains. I used to go in there and get a model kit a week and build kits with him. I think the first kit I ever built was a Spitfire Mark 1, which is still the best-selling model kit ever. Fill out this application, send with $2 or Canadian residents for $2.50, the Revel Modelers Club. All that for $2. Not bad at all. So this kit is moulded in brown, as you can see. A lot of the parts have actually come off the spruce, but they are still here. The kit is complete. I would say you're going to have to wash this kit thoroughly, and then probably get some of the old stuff to coat it first before you even try to paint it, because I've got a feeling the paint will not adhere to this model kit. The plastic is pretty thick. It's got some good heft to it. That's the cockpit, lacking in detail completely, but that's okay because there are aftermarket parts that you can get. Underside comes as this. There's the wheel wells. One of the stabilisers at the back, loose, fuel tank, and there's the other side of the fuselage. And here's your armaments, your fuel tanks and so forth, your missiles. So yeah, a little bit basic, but it does build up, as you just saw, to be a pretty nice little kit, I think. Then here we have this puppy. This is the Hasegawa kit. These are usually extremely good. Let's have a look at this one. And you can see immediately how things have moved on. This is the paint guide. Gives you full colour instructions about how to paint and decal this thing up. Instruction book is in all sorts of different languages. Hasegawa, of course, is Japanese. And the instructions are much more detailed. How to put it all together. The decal guide and the placement guide is just unbelievable. Kit is still sealed in the bags. I'm not going to bother taking it out of the bags, but as you can see, this is all etched in panel lines with exceptional detail. And the decal sheet there is just enormous. You could go to town on that thing for weeks if you wanted to. There's your clear cockpit pieces with just one of the missiles loose. Yeah, that's going to build up to be a very impressive kit when I get around to building it. So yeah, that is just a little look and a little bit of brief history at the F4 Phantom, one of my favourite aircraft. And I hope this video finds you well. Cheers, have a good day.